Utah Hockey Club gets the big win over the Calgary Flames. What a fantastic effort they put in tonight to get a win over the Flames, who were desperate. That was a huge game for the Flames as they wanted to stick in it. And, or since it's Calgary, I guess, dousing the Flames tonight with some water to put it out. Both teams mutually ensured destruction. No postseason for either of these teams now, almost certainly. Calgary is probably eliminated with Utah putting them away. How about that? My name is Keith Schertz. I run things here at Hive State Hockey, and welcome to After the Buzzer. Hey, if this is your first time here, you're just checking us out for the first time, awesome. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Come hang out with our good friend Scott and Car Wash, hanging out in the chat, asking questions, bringing me their ideas, and we're going to talk a little bit Utah Hockey Club. Keith Schertz, lifelong hockey fan, used to be the play-by-play man for the Brigham Young University Cougar hockey team, also for the Utah Valley University Wolverines hockey team. So, love it. Love doing a little play-by-play. Love talking about the NHL and this Utah Hockey Club team who get the big win tonight over the Calgary Flames. Okay, so first things first. Yes, and give a like to the stream. Scotty, good looking out. Thank you for that. Yeah, if you can give me the little thumbs up on the stream, that would be really cool. Really would appreciate that. What a game tonight for the Utah Hockey Club. Veggie, somehow, some way, putting together the great performances, being back home, suited him just fine as they begin their 5-game homestand against the Calgary Flames tonight. 33 saves, 971 save percentage for Veggie, first star of the game. Excellent performance put in by Kirill Vmelka. Really, really pleased for him and how that's going. You know, they're continuing to just ride Veggie until they're, I guess, mathematically eliminated, or they're just going to see what will happen if they continue to play Veggie. Well, the answer's been that in the last couple games, he's given them really solid, really good performances. 2 wins in a row now for the Utah Hockey Club. They get the win over the Chicago Blackhawks. Now they have a win over the Calgary Flames. And honestly, you know, this was a game where they kind of just took care of business. Calgary did look like they were beat up. They had a dramatic game where they came from behind in the third period to get a win over the Colorado Avalanche last night. They come to Utah tonight and have to deal with the Utah Hockey Club tonight. Again, not a great performance for the Flames. They looked a little slow. Rasmus Andersson is the only one that gets a goal for Calgary in the second period. Second period is really where the storm came in. That early goal by Barrett Hayton was so well taken. That backhander, that was sick. Obviously, the pass from Kerfoot to Stenlin, fantastic. And a huge moment financially for Logan Cooley in the at the end on the empty netter. That gives him his 34th assist, one more assist, and that's another $250,000 for Logan Cooley. So that is where we're at right now. And I got thinking about this tonight while I was watching the game. And I want to kind of give you an idea of the things that I'm thinking about as it comes to watching the game. For me, I got thinking about all of the players on the Utah Hockey Club and the prospects for next season. And it was interesting because if you look at this season, each of the players on this team, pretty much all of them, would look at it and say, like, well, Dylan Guenther had the best season of his career. Logan Cooley, best season of his career. You've got Clayton Keller kind of given a similar level. He may not get to 30 goals this year, so maybe a little bit coming down for Clayton Keller. Nick Schmaltz, it came down a little bit. So that top line had kind of a little fall down. But of all the younger players, of all the most of the key players, Veggie having his best season of his career. You've got Sergachev, best season of his career. Kesselring, best season of his career. Like so on and so forth. So for like half the players on this team, they're putting in career seasons. And yet here they are in a position where they're going to finish 6th in the Central Division. They're not going to be close enough to sniff the second wild card spot. Now, part of that is just, St. Louis is on an all-time heater. Like I was taking a look at it over the last 16 games. They've claimed 29 of a possible 32 points. Like they're absolutely crazy right now. They're crazy right now. It is absolutely wild what they are pulling off right now. But throwing all that aside for just a moment, Utah is they're just not in a position to capitalize on what they're trying to, what the goal was, which was to get into the playoffs. And it was because they didn't finish strong enough, but really it had just more to do with St. Louis going nuts, right? Because if St. Louis was doing what they were doing the rest of the season, they'd be still in the mix. I mean, this could be a potentially really exciting playoff push because for a while, St. Louis was right there with Calgary, Vancouver, and Utah. In fact, they were behind Utah. They were kind of the 4th team in that mix until they've just decided that losing isn't something that they do anymore. If the battle was still between Calgary, Vancouver, and Utah, it would be a 2-point race. But St. Louis has just made this thing silly. They've just played everybody else out of the thing. And now St. Louis has jumped over Minnesota. Now Minnesota is that last place team in the Western Conference playoff picture. And that is absolutely bonkers. It's just bonkers what's happened there. So they were knocked out this season by the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis Blues just went crazy. Utah has done enough to kind of stay close to the other teams in it. It's just one of the teams that was in the hunt has won 10 games in a row, and that put them in trouble. Let's see, Scott. I see that. Kind of nice for them to play in front of a half decent sized crowd at home now. Yeah, look, it's still only about 12,000 people, a little less than that, based on the way that they have to kind of crunch up the ends and get the chairs folded up. But I got to tell you, it's got to be incredibly meaningful to some of these guys who, suffered through some of those seasons playing at Arizona where they had good fans. It's not like there wasn't good fans in Arizona. It was just the whole malaise around the Arizona Coyotes was just that they were not very good usually, but really the problem is that the people in Tempe had a chance to vote whether they wanted a landfill or the Arizona Coyotes, and the city said we want a landfill, and every other suburb in the Phoenix area was like, we don't want these guys. And whether or not they wanted them or not, those things, you have to feel that with the way the state has embraced this team this season, the amount of flags and stickers on cars and hats and all that stuff that you see all around town, it's just the case that we want them here in Utah, and it just really didn't seem like Arizona wanted them, or not enough people in Arizona wanted them. It's pretty much unanimous up here, and there's that. Yes, compared to the rink size at the Mullet. Yeah, Mullet Arena, great arena for college. That's why Arizona State is there. They've built a really good college program there in Mullet, but yeah, not really the sort of place that NHL teams should be playing in. There's just more interest, and then beyond that, the revenue was being shared. Like, it's just a really, really difficult spot for that franchise to grow and to have the amount of revenue coming in that drove opportunities for them to do really special things down there. So that's what that looks like. That is what that looks like. So yes, they're certainly happier to be up in Utah right now just because the support is there. And that comes from the top. Obviously, great news being reported by Ryan Smith on his Twitter, where they're looking to build 20 new arenas here in Utah, 20 new rinks for people to go play in. Right now, there's only there's less than 20 in the whole state. So he wants to more than double how many hockey rinks are in the state of Utah. So that'll be really an important thing to see them kind of work their way through. And obviously what that does for girls hockey, for boys hockey in the state of Utah. I believe there's only one NHL player that ever was born in Utah and raised in Utah. It's Trevor Lewis of the LA Kings, who Utah Hockey Club take on next. One of the great things about hockey, one of the wonderful things about hockey, is that there are an incredible amount of awards. They give out an award for the best defensive forward, the best offensive defenseman. They give out an award for whoever scored the most points, whoever the President's Trophy for the team that scores the most points in the regular season, the Hart Trophy for the MVP. So anyway, there's all these trophies. We like celebrating trophies. We think there should be even more of them, and that's why we give them out here at Hive State Hockey on After the Buzzer. Here's the award we give out when they play the Calgary Flames. We give out the Stampede Award. Oh, look at that thing. That thing is beautiful. We give out the Stampede Award. It's given to the Utah Hockey Club player that has the most hits against Calgary in a victory. Since Utah swept Calgary this year, there were multiple games in which this award has been awarded. This is the third time in the history of the Stampede Award it's been given out, but we can see there that it has been awarded to Jack McBain. And look at that. We put the roses around his shoulders like to honor him like the thoroughbred he is, I guess. So Jack McBain, big performance by him. Lots of great hits. That line that he has moved into, it has been really fascinating to watch. Jack McBain continue to work his way through the process of being on the third line, centering Josh Doan and Lawson Krause. And, according to Money Puck, let me just look this up. Money Puck right now. Money Puck had that line of Doan, Krause, and McBain as the 7th best line in expected goals percentage of any lines that have played at least 150 minutes together. So in the entire NHL, it ranks as one of the 10 best lines right now in terms of dominating the time they're on the ice. Now, they're third liners. They're going against other third liners, but still, the fact of the matter is we are talking about, in the end, I will make it just the offensive line. So 5th, yeah. So getting rid of defensive pairings, yes, the 5th best line in expected goal percentage this season for any lines that have had at least 150 minutes together has been Krause, McBain, and Doan. Jack McBain has changed everything for that third line. The entire destiny of Lawson Krause's season, it went from being like a colossal disappointment to being an incredibly satisfying season for him with room to grow potentially next year. But Jack McBain tonight, 4 hits, and he gets the award. Now, here's the history of the Stampede Award as given out by Hive State Hockey. Ian Cole was the very first recipient. He had 4 hits in the game on October 30th. Then on the day after this new year began, Jack McBain, 4 hits, take the lead. And then tonight, there was actually a couple other players. Ian Cole had 4 hits as well. But I'm treating it like this. You keep the belt. It's WWE rules. You have to take the belt from somebody. So because Jack McBain was tied for it, tie goes to Jack McBain. He gets to keep the Stampede Award. He gets to carry that trophy one more time. I'm the voter. I'm the voter. So there is my reasoning for that whole thing. So the Stampede Award given out by Hive State Hockey here, a 2-time winner of the Stampede Award, Jack McBain. Congratulations to Jack McBain on that one. Okay, so I think as we take a look at the final run of the season, 4 more home games and then 3 on the road to close it out. You've got Los Angeles coming up next. Los Angeles is playing really well. They did a lot of smart things, I thought, at the trade deadline, and you gotta it's hard not to like the way Anze Kopitar plays. Really like the way that he plays. And then they brought in Kuzmenko after he got traded from Calgary to Philly, and then the Philly over to Los Angeles. So Los Angeles is playing really good hockey right now. And again, they like that 1-3-1 neutral zone trap, which makes life terrible, and can make these games sort of a grind. So it'll be an interesting game to see how Utah handles and manages playing the LA Kings. And then they've got, obviously, Winnipeg, best team in the NHL. Connor Hellebuck, obviously, is going to win the Vezina Trophy this year for being the best goalkeeper. That's going to be difficult. Seattle at home, they ought to be able to take care of business at. Nashville is just imploding. Then at Dallas, that'll be tough. At Nashville, that'll also be tough. And then St. Louis on the road. And literally nobody on planet Earth could beat the St. Louis Blues right now. They are unbelievable. Unbelievable what they've put together. 29 points out of their last 16 games. That's just a crazy, crazy, crazy run. Outrageous. Barrett Hayton, I thought that his finish today, I thought was very, very strong. I think that the move made by him and then to get on the backhand and find his way on that near side post, I thought that was a clever finish. He didn't try to roof it. He just snuck it by the blocker side of Dustin Wolf. I thought that was a really composed and clever finish. And then the pass by Kerfoot into the slot and then the rip by Stenlund, it was sick. So Kevin Stenlund, that was his 12th goal of the season. That's the most goals he's ever had in any season. And again, like I said, Stenlund, he's having the best year of his career. McBain, he's having the best year of his career. So there's a lot of guys having their best season, and we hope that it's just a stepping stone to getting in another career year the following year. Otherwise, if this is the best that we're going to get from these guys, there's a lot of room to grow. So, Scotty, if you want to still hold on to hope, I love it, man. The optimism for it. I'll just tell you right now, as I look at Money Puck has Utah's, it's a great advanced stat site, has Utah's playoff odds right now to make the playoff are at 0.7%. 0.7%. That is the odds that Utah has of getting into the playoff picture in the Western Conference. So, and yes, Minnesota is now lower than St. Louis to get into the playoffs. Minnesota is considered 87.7%. They are currently in that second wild card spot. Meanwhile, Calgary, they're at 12%. Vancouver, 7%. Calgary just desperately needed to win tonight. They just had to get a win, and they did not do it. So, if there's one thing, I guess, is we can take some solace in keeping the Flames out of it. Obviously, there's some pretty strong connections between Alberta and Utah. And being able to, have those things, if they were in the same division, I actually think this would be the rivalry. I actually think that Utah and Calgary, there's a lot of cultural connections between Alberta and in the Calgary area and Salt Lake City. And so I just think that that could have been a potentially great rivalry. Right now, it's not much of a rivalry because Utah wins every single time they play each other. Last thing on this, and I think the last thing for tonight's stream, I think keeping it tight is a good thing to do, so that's what we'll do tonight. Veggie, huh? Like the bounce back by Vejmelka has been pretty tremendous in the last two games. The game, obviously, against Florida, it was a little bit rough, and certainly the game against Tampa Bay on the road, that was really poor. But he played decent against, it was a little rough, but it wasn't horrible against Florida. But the game against Chicago, he really played well, and tonight he played really, really well. So I don't know if he's caught some sort of second wind, or if, coming back home. Any theories that you have about why Karel Vejmelka was able to figure it out, that is to be seen. Who do we think the main rival is for Utah Hockey Club? Is it Colorado? I would love to say Colorado. I would love to say that we were in the same league as Colorado. Obviously, that has not happened. The nastiest games so far have been with Anaheim. So if you're talking animosity, if you're talking fights and all that stuff, that's the thing that we've seen the most of. I think that there's some natural rivalry possibilities with Calgary. I already talked about that. Obviously, geographically, you could either go Vegas, but they're not in the same division. So maybe Colorado makes more sense. But the distance between Colorado and Utah right now feels pretty huge. I actually think the St. Louis rivalry has a chance to kind of come along. They're responsible. We played them in our very first ever game in the preseason. They knocked us out this year effectively. They and Utah are kind of in the same kind of ground, except for Utah's like 5 or 6 years younger than they are, and so they were both kind of in the middle. And then again, this just one huge win streak by St. Louis has just vaulted them into another planet. It'd be fun. It'd be fun if they played Calgary and Anaheim more. But yeah, I know that they had. There's just when the couple times they played this season against the Anaheim Ducks, it's been live, man. It's been really a kind of a nasty scenario there. The other thing is in Utah, right, as it relates to rivalries, there's been decent rivalries with the teams in Texas, between the Jazz and like the Dallas Mavericks or the Houston Rockets in particular. Obviously the Lakers, but the Lakers don't think of the Jazz as their rivals, so that anyway, it shouldn't really go back and forth there. Obviously, if Phoenix, you've seen the news that Phoenix may get another team. If Phoenix does get another team, it's unquestionable in my mind. It's going to be that Utah and Phoenix that's the rivalry. But with us missing the playoffs, really you need playoff series. You need playoff series to create rivalries, right? And that's not going to happen this season. But I do think that Utah will have a chance to get a lot of kind of really great games in with it. But I think the natural ones are Colorado or St. Louis. And then maybe again, like I said, Calgary and Anaheim, or but right now it's just Colorado and Vegas are just so good. It's not much of a rivalry, They're so good. So it'll be fun. I can't wait for these great like hockey rivalries to kind of come up, and cheap shots and goals that got counted that shouldn't have been counted, and all that stuff, and playoffs and knocking people out, and all of the things. All of the things. I can't wait for that sort of lore to come in. Unfortunately, that's one thing the inaugural season is not really going to deliver for Utah Hockey Club fans this year. So that's what that looks like. And yeah, so an excellent performance by Karel Vejmelka. Yeah, playoff series are good to create rivalries. Yes. Like there is like Philadelphia and Ottawa like randomly had like a really nasty series a long time ago, but it still looms over proceedings between Philadelphia and Ottawa. There's obviously been like Detroit and Colorado. They created some moments back when they were in the same division and used to have really great playoff series in the 90s. So that's where that all can kind of turn out. But okay, well, I think that's all we're going to talk about tonight. Utah, excellent job tonight. Veggie was just again outstanding. How could you not love the work put in by Karel Vejmelka tonight? The amount of saves he did, the positioning that he made. If Veggie can add to his game, and he's had a good year, but if he can add to his game the fundamentals of positioning and not just play with his athleticism, but also find a way to play with those fundamentals like he did tonight. I mean, you can see, right, that .971 save percentage comes into view pretty quickly when you combine those two aspects to it. Beyond that, it's Calgary. And Calgary is not a good offensive hockey team. So you ought to run up really great numbers against Calgary. And the good thing is he did. After he started like 18 straight games now that he has started? At this point, I just think that they don't know that they have a backup goalie. So I think they're just going to play Veggie the final 7 here, and maybe he'll go the final 25 games of the season, and we'll see how he holds up. We've already had stretches where it was not very good, but he seems to have pushed through that, and maybe we're going to get some really good performances down the stretch here. So it was a fun game to watch. From the compete level, I thought that Utah, I thought Logan Cooley had a lot of jump tonight. He continues to look great. Dylan Gunther, he had to, grit it out after unfortunately taking that puck to the face. And then obviously, Barrett Hayton had the great finish by Kevin Stenlund tonight. And then of course the empty netter that was put in by Clayton Keller. So yeah, it was a great performance. Veggie, obviously the story of the game. 33 saves on 34 shots. So that'll do it for tonight's edition of After the Buzzer on Hive State Hockey. And we will see you after the game against the Los Angeles Kings next time. So we'll see you real soon. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night. And we'll see you real soon.